Well, good morning and welcome to the channel. So today is something a little bit different. Since this YouTube channel started to get a little bit of traction now, I've been approached by a number of sponsorship deals and I've rejected them all. Because if I'm going to accept a sponsorship deal, it's going to have to be something either related to photography, lighting or sound, something that I actually use. And the sponsorship deals were anything from sportswear to jewellery. Very strange. However, that said, when I was approached by my friends at Zhiyun to promote their new light, I had to give this one a go. Now, as soon as I started photography, the next step was to actually move on to lighting, or almost artificial lighting, trying to light the scene in such a way to give your images a bit of a different dynamic. And one aspect of photography that I really love to lean towards is light painting. When I first started off, I used to use my iPhone, the torch on the iPhone, and sort of light the area, certainly whilst doing a long exposure. But as your gear develops, so do you, and so do your skills. So when Zhiyun reached out to me and offered me the CINEPEER X100, I had to take it. I had to see what this light could actually do. And here it is. Quite a strange looking piece of equipment. Looks more like a speaker. So I wanted to test this light on macro photography. Now I know that adding additional light to macro photography really helps and it really makes the images help stand out. And I just wanted to see what this would be like. Would it be too powerful? Would it be powerful enough? Would the battery last as long? And obviously with it being larger than my Lume Cube that I use, is it something that I'll actually put in my camera bag? So one of the great features about this light is not only its huge battery life, but also the ability to actually change the light temperature and the brightness as well. Something that I really wanted to try out in the field. To operate, it's quite simple. I won't shine it right to you guys, but basically turn the dial and it offers a different brightness. And then if you want to change the Kelvin or the color temperature, you simply turn the other dial and it gives from a really light blue to a really deep yellow, which can really alter the tone of your images quite dramatically. So anyway, enough chit chat. You're going to join me out in the field doing macro photography with the CX100 Zhiyun light. Well, good morning and welcome to a rather fresh and chilly start in Warrington. Like I said in that intro, I've come out today to do some macro photography. It seems to be the perfect conditions this morning. I've got a ground frost, still air, and yeah, hopefully with this light as well, we should be able to get something. So I've come to Moor Nature Reserve this morning, and here there's a couple of lakes. I'm just looking over one of them now, and there's a beautiful mist. Now I've got to kind of ignore it because I've not got the right lens. I've only brought out the macro lens for this morning, and I'm kind of regretting it. So there's no way around that. I guess I'm going back on myself. So the gear I've brought out today is the mighty Nikon D850. Attached to the front of that is the macro lens, the 105, and then obviously the Zhiyun light as well. And I'm going to see today whether it actually adds anything to your images when you do macro, having that artificial light. I think we should get some good results today. So I'm actually on the hunt for some spring flowers or something with a little bit of colour, and I'm actually struggling around this area. There seems to be nothing that's actually alive. It's just barren wasteland. So I've walked quite a bit of a distance since I last spoke to the camera. I was all the way behind where we are, the actual start of the walk, and yeah, I'm sort of going to head towards where the Manchester Ship Canal is and hopefully get something of a little bit more interest there. So far it's a little bit flat. Stick with us. Hunt for something quite interesting is proving quite difficult. I've walked another 2 or 3 miles along this path, and yeah, there just seems to be nothing around to take. There's just brambles, as you can probably see, and just sort of hedgerows. So I'm going to go to a different location. I think I'm going to wrap up here, and I'm going to go to the same location that I photographed a couple of weeks ago on the last macro photography video I did. There was daffodils about to bloom and things like that. Just things of a little bit more interest than there are around here. Yeah, I think for macro photography around more, no, it's not good. So yeah, I'm going to head on. I'm going to walk back to the car, give up this location, and I'll join you in a little bit. So I've dashed across town and in an old familiar location. Right, let's do some more photography. And it is a bit of a dash today because I've just had a look at the weather forecast, and there's high winds this afternoon. Now, the problem with macro photography, high winds and macro don't really mix. The reason for that is you're dealing with such a close focal length. The slightest movement in the object, game over. So yeah, I'm going to try and get a few images this morning, and the breeze is starting to build up a little bit. But yeah, it's still fairly calm, and we should be able to get away with this. So it's currently a Monday, and one of the best things of working my strange shifts, 4 on 4 off, is you get to enjoy midweek days off, and you've not got to deal with this. Welcome to the M6. So the only problem I've got this morning, there is a slight breeze, and it's causing a little bit of movement in the image. Now, it's not causing too much of an issue because I've actually raised the ISO. So I've currently, instead of shooting at my normal 64, I've raised up to 640, which has given me, without the light, about 250th of a second. With the light, it's given me 640th of a second. So there is a massive difference between normal light, natural light, which is still quite bright. We've still got quite a bit of sunlight coming through today. But when you add the light from the artificial light, it just makes it that little bit sharper as well. In fact, that shot is 1,600th of a second. So yeah, quite fast photography. So I think this was the right decision to give up on more and come here. I know I've shot here a number of times before, but there's just that much more springness. There's a lot more spring in the atmosphere around here, obviously with the daffodils, and we've got the snowdrops as well. I know it's right by the M6, but it doesn't matter. With macro photography, you're into the detail, so that's what I've been looking for this morning. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed taking images, and playing around with the Zhiyun light as well has really helped, and hopefully develop those images a little bit more, giving them a little bit more depth, a little bit more juiciness. But I won't be able to tell that until I get into the computer and actually have a look at the images. So the best thing for me to do is take a few more images around here, head home, have a look at the images, and then review them. And yeah, I'll give you my thoughts on this light, whether it's actually worth buying one of these lights or any other lights to come out and do macro photography with. So there we go, I hope you enjoyed those images. You can really tell the difference where I've actually used the light and where it's actually been natural light, and I've processed both of the comparisons pretty much the same way I would normally. As I said in my previous macro photography video, macro is something I really want to get into and sort of explore more. Using this light will actually really help me develop my skills as a macro photographer. And just having the flexibility of using this light, certainly when we've got really grotty weather conditions, it will really help and really sort of make those images pop. Just so happened that this morning it was really actually quite bright and we actually had really quite good light. Another thing this light actually helped with was actually increasing the shutter speed, so I could get a much faster image, because partway through that day the wind was starting to build up and it's actually becoming quite blustery out there now. So I was able to take a much faster shot with using the light. One thing I'm really delighted with this light, I've kept it on pretty much most of the morning at full power, just sort of working out the composition, working out where the light should be. And throughout all that time, the battery's withheld. We've now got 3 bars out of the 4 that are still lit on the back. And yeah, I've not been kind to this morning. I've really given it quite a bit of a battering. So yeah, the battery life on this is much better than what I'm used to, which, let's face it, is always a bit of a bonus. The only downside is it's a little bit bulky. Obviously you've got to make room in your camera bag for it. It does look a little bit strange with the front attachment, but to be honest, once that's off and it's sort of put away in the bag, yeah, it doesn't take up that much more room than a smaller light would. And because you've got the flexibility of the power on this, yeah, I think I'll be taking this out a lot more. The diffuser as well is detachable, but I've kept it on because it gives it a much softer light, which is something I was really pleased with. So yes, the CX100 is something that will be certainly staying in my camera bag. And I'm really looking forward to doing some light painting with this light as well. I think this, certainly with the power of it and obviously the difference in the colour temperature, will really make those images stand out. So for those of you who have watched the end of the video, thank you. And my friends at Zhiyun are going to give you a little gift. So if you use the link below and use this discount code, you'll get 10% off your purchase. You can't get fairer than that. So if you're looking for a decent light for macro photography, light painting or studio work, I don't think you can go wrong with the CX100. It's certainly something to have in your kit. And like I say, I'll be using this quite a lot. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the images as well that I've managed to create, certainly with the additional light as well. If you have, don't forget to give me the thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. It'll be great to have you on board of the channel. And also leave a note in the comments what you actually thought and actually whether you will actually purchase one of these lights. So I'll finish the video here. Thank you so much for watching. All the best. Take care. Next video out very, very soon. Bye bye now.